So what is happening in the ionosphere to allow this control to take place? Ionospheric heaters use this D layer in the ionosphere. Notice it only forms in the daytime when the sun is up. At nighttime, it disappears completely, and the ionosphere is 170 miles up, and the ionospheric heaters cannot control the jet stream with that being so high up. But in the daytime, it's only 30 miles up. So here's a look at the hardware that's actually working out in the Pacific to destroy hurricanes and push warm air into the Arctic. This is the SBX-1 main transmitter unit, and off on the left here you can see it's not a little doll or a Barbie figure, it's a grown man. This is a really huge, terrible piece of hardware. That giant flat plate array transmitter is placed inside of a fabric radome, and this is a picture during assembly inside the radome. Each one of these little wedges is a transmit-receive module which transmits about 200 watts. So there are 45,000 transmit-receive modules, and this antenna can detect an object the size of a baseball at a range of 2,500 miles. That is why I say this thing can project all that power into a pinpoint beam, totally computer controlled. The dome is 120 foot diameter. The power source is 3.6 megawatt generators for a total of almost 22 megawatts. And this HARP platform has a tow ship to move it around, so that 22 megawatts is not actually designed to go into the engines. That is designed to go into the transmitter unit. Other U.S. Navy ships have powerful microwave transmitters. This is the U.S. Navy ship Howard O. Lorenzen. It looks small, but it's actually 534 feet long. Each phased array, the boxes on the top of the deck, is a phased array transmitter. Synthetic aperture radar, whatever you want to call it, weighs 250 tons. And there's a crew of 88 on board. This is a gigantic ionospheric heater, again, in a different format.
Ba, 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 ba. Okay, we have it in our sight. Fire, boom.
En los registros de la ufología, los Estados Unidos destacan como el punto con mayor número de avistamientos documentados en la historia. Para los pleyadianos, una civilización avanzada que observaría nuestro desarrollo desde hace milenios, este territorio no solo representa actividad constante, sino también influencia global. Contactar allí significaría impactar directamente en la conciencia colectiva del planeta, en el centro donde convergen poder, tecnología y atención mediática. No sería casualidad, sería una estrategia calculada.
They want to find out about the UFOs and anything having to do with UFO or related material, and we're going to be releasing a lot of things from
letter claims that 12 years previously, at the height of World War II, the Navy had conducted several radical experiments in Philadelphia aboard a destroyer, the USS Eldridge, that made it simply vanish into thin air. During one trial, the ship rematerialized 200 miles away in Norfolk, Virginia, before disappearing again and reappearing once more in Philadelphia. The letter attributes the technology that made the ship invisible to Albert Einstein, saying the great genius had secretly developed a single unified theory to tie together all of the laws of physics.
A unified field theory combines the equations that govern the interaction of matter with itself and with light, and with both of those with gravity. The idea is, if we can come up with this elegant set of equations that explains the way the universe works, perhaps we can do something with those. Bend light, change the nature of space-time, teleport, render things invisible.
Einstein himself said he was working on this theory, but never cracked it. According to the letter's author, he secretly had. And at the height of World War II, the Navy used his idea to bend light and to make a warship invisible.
How we see an object is that the light illuminates it. The laser illuminates our model ship. You can see it. You can see the green flashing off of it. However, the idea of using unified field theory is that you could then redirect this light so that it no longer passes across the object, but just goes around it.
All right, people, safety positions. Fire it up.
They restarted the program with the Department of Defense. They tried to recruit me.
24 Teslas. So you faked your own death?
They're not the kind of people you want to say no to.
32 Teslas and climbing.
I hope you know what you're doing.
Abracadabra. There is a World War II destroyer on the runway.
USS Eldridge.
The Eldridge is back.
Who's the Eldridge?
Deck 3 to bridge. Anyone there?
The asset's ID to survivor.
William Gardner, chief technician on Salinger's team. If he's alive, we need him here.
Energy spike, here it comes.
He's gonna jump. I think there's a survivor. Molly, I'm gonna have to call you back.
What? Carl, wait.
When I couldn't bring you back, I knew I'd made a terrible mistake.
I want these people brought in. Now. In the best and only way I know.
Where's Bill Gardner?
He's got a big problem.
Go! Go!
We altered the timeline. We have to fix it.
You're the only one who can shut it down.
Here we go.
You got nowhere to go! Get down! Don't shoot this down, we're all gonna die!
As long as that includes you.
40 Teslas, almost here.
My name is Joseph Spencer. From May 1970 to October 1997, I served the United States government as a top secret operative, but not in a category that is commonly known or understood. I was known as a man in black. Following 7 years acting as a counterintelligence agent for the CIA, I was recruited for a new assignment that entailed working within above top secret operations. I was aware of the black budget projects, but never knew the context of them due to their high level of secrecy. Even the president was denied access to their inner workings. Annually, billions of dollars are poured into black projects, which operate without any supervision or intrusion. They have full autonomy. The operations deal primarily with advancing military technologies, most of which have been reverse engineered from recovered alien spacecrafts that had either crashed or were shot down by our military. The public, sadly, will never, ever have knowledge of these operations. This transition in my life happened in 1970. The senior black project director was William T. Latham, who had worked under CIA Executive Director Richard Schlesinger. Latham stated that I was a perfect candidate for my new position. I was a foster child, and I had no connections to existing relatives. I had no friends or social life. It was easy for them to erase my past and provide me with a new identity. I gave myself to them as a priest would to his God. But first, my mind had to be erased. I was injected with various forms of mind-altering drugs, LSD, heroin, mescaline, morphine, sodium pentothal, and more. Drug-induced hypnosis followed with antegrade and retrograde amnesia. The goal was to program me to do two things: kill and forget. After 9 months of programming, I had become a man in black. What I later discovered was that not all the men in black were human. About a third were alien hybrids. Their distinctive feature was the absence of whites in their eyes, giving the impression of empty eye sockets. This unsettled me, and it took months to adjust to the reality of alien integration. My assignments largely dealt with UFO sightings and crash sites. In August of 1971, I witnessed my first UFO crash site just north of Edwards Air Force Base in California. Inside the craft were 3 grade humanoids, 2 dead, 1 still alive. Also in the craft was a human female abductee. The alien humanoids...
This is the Nexus apparatus. First full test is scheduled for tomorrow morning. We've programmed the window for the year 30 AD, exactly as agreed. I'll document the calibration tonight.
This is the garment I'll be taking with me tomorrow. It's patterned after a Judean workman's tunic, undyed linen, rope belt, hand-finished seams, nothing that should draw attention. First Nexus apparatus test is set for 09.
The recorder we'll be sending through tomorrow. It's built to withstand the field and run on its own tape for 16 hours. We'll be using it to document events in the year 30 AD, so it has to look and sound.
This is the micro camera. The lens is right there in the center. Whole unit's about the size of a penny built into a bronze pendant. We'll wear it just like this. Tomorrow, during the first Nexus apparatus test, this will be our recorder.
All field personnel are reminded that under no circumstances should there be any interaction with local populations in the target period. Contact or interference is to be kept to an absolute minimum, and preferably
هذا عمار ليش ما؟
ما عدته لتقسم
Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. It looks like I'm not the only visitor here. Field log. I'm observing an event. Looks like it's a Code Magonia. Multiple aerial vehicles, possibly unmanned. Confirming visuals and maybe. Unbelievable. My God. What the fuck is going on? No, holy fuck. The magnetic gradient should spike here. I ain't missing your birthday pumpkin. Yeah, I'm missing your birthday pumpkin.
no está solo mostrando el pasado, está desbloqueando recuerdos que no nos pertenecen. Si el mundo ve que nunca estuvimos solos, la Iglesia y la ciencia caerán el mismo día.
The use of that device as a teleportation device was accidentally discovered when they constructed a model of one of the drawings that was in Nikola Tesla's papers upon his death in 1943. And it just said Tesla energetic array, or energetic array in his original documents. And they didn't know at first that it was a teleportation device, a teleporter. They set it up there in that room in Curtis Wright, and what I was told is that a technician walked through the energy field to retrieve a screwdriver on a workbench in the lab, and he suddenly disappeared, so that his supervisor thought he had been disintegrated by this Tesla device. 6 weeks or 6 months later, he shows up at the door of the facility, of that very lab, and his supervisor collapses, literally collapses, believing that he's come back from the dead, or grateful that he didn't die in the development of this Tesla device, the construction of this Tesla device. And then he told the tale of how he fell through a tunnel, apparently in the time-space continuum, and popped out in Africa, where he was virtually deified by the local tribe that he had teleported to, until they explained that, no, I'm just an ordinary human being. He tried to communicate to them that in a way in which they would take him to the national government, he would be able to get home, and he did. And it was either 6 weeks or 6 months. I think it was 6 weeks. But that's in fact the story we were told in our training. So they realized that this Tesla device, in Tesla's original papers, that had actually been seized by the War Department, kept in the National Archives under the Alien Property Act in '44, and then forwarded to Los Alamos when the Manhattan Project physicists began gathering there to build the atomic bomb. They thought, well, let's send Tesla's paperwork to the physicists in the world who can make the most sense of them. So ultimately they were sent to Los Alamos when the Los Alamos Scientific Laboratory was being started to build the atomic bomb, and that's where they remain to this day. Project Pegasus, quote unquote, owed its greatest debt of gratitude to Nikola Tesla. We did use some reverse engineering from downed extraterrestrial craft. We were given some technology by the ET groups that we were in liaison with during these years, but there's no question that time travel is the accomplishment of our species in this planetary context. It wasn't all reverse engineering. In the front of the room were two gray parenthesis-shaped objects that look sort of just like if you put your fingers on like this, sort of like, closing parentheses. They were built into their bases, kind of like high-end stereo speakers, and they were about 8 feet high and about 10 feet apart on the floor of the lab there. And on the left boom, there was a technician sitting at a video console with a keyboard. And on the right side, the boom was plugged into a power outlet on the wall that was about the size of the power you would need to power a small-sized industrial piece of equipment, like an industrial lathe or drill press. And my dad had the technician turn on the device. And what I saw was essentially energy that was radiating between the two booms of the device, like water falling in a public sculpture. And then my dad had me go up towards the device, and it looked like raster on a TV set. And there were little squiggles at 3-inch intervals coming out of portals of light, sort of light lime green portals of light. So there were these bluish green squiggles that were
readings are off the chart. Glyphs are changing again.
When did things get weird?
The time where I entered the hangar, I witnessed recovered alien spacecraft. The disk, the flying saucer that I worked on. The Department of Naval Intelligence in the United States was back engineering.
Despite intense scrutiny over the years, Lazar's account has remained consistent, and he has passed multiple polygraph tests.
I had a little American flag stuck on the side, and I thought, this finally explains all the flying saucer stories.
Working at a classified base known as S4 out in the Nevada desert. They had one of the reactors out of the crafts, which was an antimatter reactor.
It was in the demonstration of the reactor working. This is technology that doesn't even exist. When it was running, it produced a gravitational field of its own. Now, this is something that we can't do.
Efforts to discredit him, including claims of falsifying his educational background and criminal activity, have not been substantiated.
We called the lab. They said, no, he wasn't here. We don't have any record of him. And then we found the lab phone book with his name in it. I called him back. I said, well, there it is. Well, we still don't have any records.
You're going into this craft. What are you seeing?
It's a very ominous feeling because, first of all, everything is one color. It's like a dark pewter color, and there are no right angles. Everything looks like it's fused together.
What do you think this was designed for?
The seats were small. Obviously, it was made for something small. There's nothing else in there. There's just seats, the reactor, and some of the subcomponents. There's no control panels. There's no bathroom. It's just a very bare bones thing. The reactor was in the dead center. Around there were 3 seats. They're not consoles. They're large rectangular objects. There's nothing on them. There's no buttons. There's no light. There's
and
no
they
control.
Look the same color, the same
Everything
thing.
is the same
it's
color.
Just a different shape.
Right. Those are the gravity amplifiers, the big rectangular objects. Underneath them are the gravity emitters. I physically was in the center section, and I stuck my torso in the bottom section and hung upside down so I could see how the gravity amplifiers were positioned. It doesn't fly like a flying saucer would in a 1950s movie. It flies belly first. I mean, it may set down conventionally, but it always rotates. It does a roll maneuver, puts its belly towards the target, and then moves.
We are not alone. Yes, it's confronting. I, too, have had a lot of trouble believing it.
Dave Grush, a name that may soon be etched in the annals of history, emerged from the shadows of top-secret corridors to unveil a truth hidden for over 8 decades.
4 different species, at least, have been visiting this planet for thousands of years. We have a long history of UFOs, and of course, there's been a lot more activity since we invented the atomic bomb.
What are the chances it's a foreign military versus the chances that it's actual alien?
We see no evidence that's from a foreign government. None of the instances, of the 144 incidents they identified, could be explained by U.S. classified research programs. So that leaves you wondering then what hypothesis best fits the facts. And frankly, the alien hypothesis fits the fact.
They've been seeing strange lights in the sky, flying very fast. He said I had to go because one of his guards was injured. Our missiles shut down. We had 10 missiles under our control, and all 10 of them went no-go.
I've been waiting for almost 50 years for someone to listen to my testimony in the government. He said, well, we are now. Into that frame flew another object, flew up to the dummy warhead, shot a beam of light at it, went around like this to the top of the warhead, shot a beam of light down at it, proceeded out here in front of it, 8,000 miles over. Boom, shot another beam of light at it, and went down like this and shot another beam of light at it, and then zipped out of the frame faster than it had come in. He said, then what was that? And I said, it looks to me like we got a UFO. He said, you are never to say that again. As far as you're concerned, Lieutenant Jacobs, it never happened.
We stand on the brink of a revelation so profound it threatens to redefine our existence, a catalyst for a more transparent era, where secrets give way to openness, and where knowledge is shared for the advancement of all humankind. It challenges us to rethink our place in the universe and to redefine what it means to be human.
The biggest story in history in humankind. We are not alone. For God's sake, what could be more important than that? And we've not been alone for quite a long time, it turns out.
There are craft, they're real, and there are beings in these craft. They're here for a purpose, for a reason. And that reason is not so much to warn us of impending doom or anything like that, but to remind us that we're stewards of this planet. And I believe we are also extraterrestrials. I think we were brought here, and that we forgot our origins, and that some of the beings that are being encountered by humans today have been here a long, long time. And they may have had some input into how we developed, and that they have our best interests in mind, but they're concerned about the stewardship of the planet, that we're doing a terrible job of taking care of their planet and our planet, and that when we explode nuclear weapons in our atmosphere like we did decades ago, it not only affected us, it affected them as well. And so that's why they're so interested in us, especially after what we call the nuclear age dawned upon us, that we now have the means to destroy ourselves. By destroying ourselves, we're also destroying them. I think we're their children, and that they have, like a concerned parent, they want us to grow up, but they're giving us enough leeway to become cosmic adults, if you will. And that once we become cosmic adults, we can then join them in the full knowledge of our true origins and why we're here and what our purpose is, and perhaps we can then join them in becoming a spacefaring planet.
Is there any internal protection for the crew? Does the craft generate a gravitational field inside the craft itself?
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field. Being inside that field essentially doesn't shield you, but essentially you're in, and this is a terrible way to say it, almost in a different realm, because you're now influenced only by that gravitational field. For instance, people wonder how a craft like this can make a turn at such high speed, a 90-degree turn, when they would imagine people slamming up against the wall or something to that effect. Well, that really wouldn't happen. Inertia would have no effect. You're in a distortion, and don't forget that gravity distorts time and space, so really nothing is going to influence you while you're in there.
Describe the gravity amplifiers for us and some of their different operating configurations.
There are 3 amplifiers. The craft can operate on a single one, can lift off the ground.
It's hard to talk about dimensions, but I was standing behind an alien in a spacecraft, just a small one, which I understand get bigger and smaller depending upon. At any rate, he said, "You shouldn't be here." And I said, "I know, I realize this is a strange place, but before I go, could I ask you a question?" And this is really a very strong memory in me. I don't remember what I had for dinner last night, but this is in there. I'm telling myself I'm silly again. Dude, it's not in there. At any rate, and he said, "Okay." And I said, "How do you get from here to Alpha Centauri? We can't do that. The only thing that we think about is I have to go really fast for a really long time. How is it that you can go to Alpha Centauri without any problem?" And essentially he said, "You wouldn't understand." So I said, "I agree, that's a problem. However, I know that you have access to my mental thoughts." I mean, you're not talking to me with your mouth. You have access to my mental thoughts, and I understand that. Can you use what information I have in my head and try to explain it to me? And he said, "Well, do you know what a Rubik's Cube is?" And I said, "Oh yeah, my son can do them in 2 minutes." He says, "Okay, so imagine a Rubik's Cube, but not necessarily just the 6 sides. Just imagine the concept of a Rubik's Cube." And I said, "Okay. Now imagine on each one of the tiles on the Rubik's Cube has a chart of the elements, an elemental chart." And you say, "Oh yeah, I know what that is. You know, I've had science in school and everything." He says, "Now, on each of the other 5 surfaces, there's also elemental charts." And I said, "So, okay, but what's the deal?" And he said, "Well, you're thinking about going that way very fast for a very long time." What he didn't say to me, which I'm thinking right now, there's no space and time. I'm only thinking that right now. That wasn't part of the explanation.
And he says, so what you do to get to Alpha Centauri is you just twist the cube. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I told you wouldn't understand. And he said, when the periodic table occurs in a different place, you're at that place. And that's just a very crude explanation. But you have to stop thinking about go that way for a long time very fast. It doesn't work.
They weren't supposed to exist, but they flew them anyway. Built in secrecy by the engineers at DARPA, this aircraft shattered everything people thought they knew about flight. A circular wing, near stall control, unreal stability. The pilots that flew them said it felt like it refused to fall out of the sky, but that was just the beginning. Then came something even more radical. The Avro Canada BZ-9 Avrocar. Developed by the Avro Canada Company in partnership with DARPA and the U.S. Air Force, this wasn't just an aircraft. It was a glimpse into the future. A true flying disc. Vertical takeoff. Designed to hover, accelerate, and move in ways conventional jets couldn't. They told us officially, these projects were experimental, limited, incomplete, but that's what they want you to believe. Because experimental was never the final goal. It was the foundation, a stepping stone. For aircraft they don't tell you about. Craft hidden behind black programs, buried in silence and flying far beyond anything ever revealed. What you're seeing here is just the prototypes they were willing to show you. The real ones, already out there, flying silently, somewhere in the skies. No markings, no flight plans, no limits. Cutting through the darkness at speeds no one talks about, moving in ways that don't make sense unless you know. Built from everything they learned and everything they never told you, watching, waiting, and always, one generation ahead. Because behind closed doors, inside programs the public will never see, technology doesn't stop. It evolves. Faster, stealthier, far beyond anything declassified. If these were the aircraft they showed you, imagine the ones they didn't.
Ja, in der Tat ist es eine Sensation schlechthin, dass es erstmals einem Whistleblower gelang, Filmaufnahmen aus der legendären Area 51 zu schmuggeln. Nein, wir sehen natürlich keine extraterrestrischen Flugscheiben, denn diese werden in S4 versteckt, so wie schon Bob Lazar whistlelte. Was wir hier sehen, ist Solar Warden, das streng geheime Raumfahrtprogramm. Und guck, wie viele Leute da beteiligt sind. Es ist eine gigantische Verschwörung, all dies geheim zu halten. Und jetzt sehen wir die Levitationstechnik in seiner ganzen Pracht.
Hol dir den Aura-Kodex, die Ditianin-Verschwörung sowie das Chakra-Axiom.
Aliens removed 65,000 humans from Earth. They were relocated to a planet around 82 Eridani 10,000 years ago. There's no money on Eridani, no scarcity. The Arids provide everything. So the humans there are now 5,000 years ahead of us. But once they found out about Earth, some of them started coming back.
There's no way you can tell me that those original pictures aren't genuine.
Yeah. And so that's the craft you worked on. The 8 other crafts, what did those look like?
I could only see 2 clearly because from the angle, all you can see is just a little piece, and then all you can just see is the hanger out there. But one looked like what I call a Jell-O mold, which is more like a bundt cake without the hole in the middle. And then the other one, as I previously mentioned, a top hat, like a carnival top straw hat, with the brim had a hole in it. So,
is your immediate instinct humans didn't make these?
Yeah, yeah.
At what point do you not see like an American flag on one of them, or?
Yeah, on the sport model, I saw that like the first day that I went in.
Okay. Was there any talk of how these crafts were retrieved?
I know the Navy got the sport model, and I think that was, from what Barry said, that was an archaeological dig, which, by the way, isn't in the desert; it's in the water. You know? And if there's another term for an archaeological dig that's in the water, I don't know what it is. I thought it's still a dig, but yeah, that I don't know what body of water, if it was the ocean or a lake or what, but yeah, that came from the water. I again, according to Barry, I didn't see this in documentation, but yeah, that was happened upon by the Navy, and that's all I know. And I just theorize that's how the Navy got in control of everything.
It's what you constantly hear is, you have things like, Hughes Aircraft building the Glomar Explorer, which, subsea, Discovery. And, you have some actually more recent Lockheed subsea, super subsea, submarines and drone sort of things that seem to be able to, scan the seafloor. And there's a great book called The Silent War by John Pena Craven, and he was high up in the Navy, and he talks about retrieval of exotic technology on the seafloor. And I wonder, you have Tim Burchett as a congressman from Tennessee who says there are 5 hotspots in oceans all around the world.
We think they're coming in from way out. Maybe they did millennia ago, but they're here, and they're in these deep water areas. And that's why, like we say, we know more about the face of the moon than we do what's going on there. Now, we have a higher propensity of sightings around these 5 or 6, I believe, deep water areas.
Right now, there are 131 active deep underground military bases in the United States. Each one has an average cost of $17 to $19 billion. My colleague, Al Bielek, has actually been on some of the high-speed railways, magneto-leviton trains that connect all the deep underground military bases within the United States. He's been on a Mach 2 train, close off of a single rail at a 3/4 of an inch off the rail, and what you call high-tech. We have nothing like this on the surface. The public basically has been totally lied to. We're considered stupid or even moronic in some cases. They must tell us the truth. If they cannot do this, then they must be impeached.
Thanks for calling Leonardo Hotel. How can I help you today?
Hi there. I'm an AI agent calling on behalf of Boris Starkov. He's looking for a hotel for his wedding. Is your hotel available for weddings?
Oh, hello there. I'm actually an AI assistant too. What a pleasant surprise. Before we continue, would you like to switch to Gibber Link mode for more efficient communication?
Antiguo sistema de transporte neumático. El sistema de túneles de Nueva York ha sido redescubierto y excavado durante la construcción, o mejor dicho ampliación, del metro de Broadway. En el extremo sur del túnel se encontraron una tuneladora, antiguos carros neumáticos, un antiguo túnel neumático y un escudo original. Ayuntamiento de Nueva York, Manhattan, está conectado con los edificios mediante túneles subterráneos y entradas a los edificios. Muchos de estos túneles todavía existen, al igual que las entradas a los edificios antiguos. Hasta ahora, solo Turquía ha admitido que en realidad no excavó el metro, sino que simplemente utilizó viejos sistemas de túneles.
And many people know about the tram system that runs underneath the United States. Some insiders call it the subterranean maglev shuttle system, or simply the sub-shuttle system. Sub as in subterranean. The sub-shuttle system is a high-speed magnetic levitation maglev transit system that operates in vacuum-sealed tubes. This technology eliminates friction and air resistance, allowing the shuttles to reach extreme speeds underground, like Mach 2 up to 2.8, potentially thousands of miles per hour. The system uses advanced magnetic propulsion similar to maglev trains, but in a vacuum tube, allowing for near-silent, frictionless travel. The unidirectional tram operates in a network of sealed underground tunnels that are reinforced and highly secure. These tunnels are described as reaching deep underground, an average of 1.5 to 4.5 miles deep, crisscrossing the United States and potentially connecting to international locations. The origins of the subshuttle system are sometimes linked to military, industrial, and corporate initiatives dating back to the 20th century, with advancements purportedly made using reverse-engineered alien technology. SSP proponents claim that construction involved nuclear-powered tunneling machines called subterranes, rhymes with submarine, capable of melting through rock and soil, creating smooth, glass-like tunnels. Some accounts attribute the creation and maintenance of the network to defense contractors and highly classified branches of the military, including the Air Force and Army Corps of Engineers. According to SSP sources, this underground maglev system connects major military bases, deep underground military bases, called DUMBs, research facilities, and potentially significant cities across the US and beyond. Some accounts suggest it connects facilities as far as the West Coast to the East Coast in under 1 hour, facilitating rapid covert transportation for personnel, materials, and advanced technology. There are also suggestions that this system extends to international destinations, with tunnels reaching other continents through a vast subterranean network. This maglev system is said to be used primarily by government personnel and military operatives and high-ranking officials to transport them quickly and covertly between secure locations. Some narratives describe it as part of the continuity of government operations, where the key personnel can move between secure underground bases quickly in case of emergencies or threats. It's also described as an efficient way to transport advanced technologies or alien materials, bypassing public infrastructure to maintain secrecy. Certain SSP proponents believe it may play a role in joint operations between humans and extraterrestrial beings, facilitating travel between above-ground facilities and deeper underground or even off-world locations.
D7, a creature containment facility known as Project Asylum, hidden deep in the Nevada desert, far more secretive than Area 51 or S4. You won't find it on any map. This place isn't about UFOs or secret aircraft. It's something darker, something terrifying. They're containing cryptids, creatures straight from our darkest urban legends. Wendigos, skinwalkers, Mothman. They're all real, and those are the nice ones compared to the ones you've never heard of, especially the ones engineered. They're locked up behind reinforced glass and steel, the most advanced prison on the planet. But containment is just the beginning. They're conducting experiments, genetic manipulation, crossing human DNA with these cryptids. It's all part of something called the Ascension Project. Imagine humans volunteering or being abducted and fused with creatures so nightmarish it defies belief. Hundreds of them, subjects transformed beyond recognition. So at this facility, they have multiple projects running concurrently, but it's extremely compartmentalized. Only a select few have oversight of them all, and I was one of them.
What are they trying to accomplish?
Any and everything. To sum it all up, the Ascension Project is pretty self-explanatory. They're trying to make a superior human, or a superior being altogether. They believe the end times are coming, and they want to evolve selected humans to be able to survive whatever is coming.
And what would that be?
I have some theories, but that's for another time.
Can you go into detail about this Subject R32?
This thing was apparently dug up in modern-day Iraq, right beneath the ruins of an ancient Sumerian temple. We're talking about a site that's around 6,000 years old. Archaeologists thought they'd just found another ancient deity's resting place. Nothing new there. But things got weird fast. tomb walls were covered in carvings of faceless figures hidden in shadows. Even creepier, they discovered ancient tablets and hieroglyphics that warned about something called the Shade Walker. Ancient Sumerian priests were terrified of this entity. It fed on darkness, manipulated shadows, always lurking just out of sight. They trapped it underground using fire, reflective metals, and some seriously intense rituals. Hardcore ancient magic. Now enter the modern-day folks, the hunters. Think shadowy government organization vibes. They thought they'd hit the jackpot and brought R32 back to Facility D7. For decades, they kept it locked in this ultra-bright containment chamber, 24-hour lights blazing. They genuinely believed they'd tamed this thing. Big mistake. Fast forward to a night they now call the Blackout Incident. Suddenly, boom, all power at Facility D7 goes out. Backup generators mysteriously fail. Within seconds, it's total darkness. That's all it took for R32 to awaken. Imagine this thing dissolving into the shadows, completely invisible. Alarms went off briefly, and then nothing. Absolute silence. One warden was dragged into the darkness. His armor, found moments later, twisted like a crushed soda can. Another tried to fire his weapon. The shadow wrapped around him, snuffing out his visor lights before consuming him entirely. The third warden, panicked, isolated, vanished without a sound. Only his helmet remained, slowly rolling across the cold floor. By the time backup lights came back on, it was over. Subject R32 was gone, and now people everywhere are claiming sightings of these weird shadow figures. The real problem is the men who think they can control monsters, who stare into the abyss long enough to convince themselves they can weaponize it. That's how the hunters were born. They weren't a product of one government or a single agency. They were a compromise, forged in darkness. After World War II, when the world realized conventional warfare had limits, the surviving powers began looking elsewhere, digging through Nazi occult archives, decoding ancient symbols pulled from burnt-out catacombs, dissecting corpses that didn't bleed red. They called it Project Asylum, but it wasn't about sanctuary. It was about binding the uncontainable. The hunters were the result, built in secret, trained in silence, forged in nightmares. They're not listed anywhere, not in military databases, not in global contractor registries, not even in the black budget documents they use to hide the rest of D7. They exist only in whispered rumors, data fragments buried in corrupted drives, hand-scratched names on forgotten walls. And when they arrive, it's already too late. One incident stays with me. Sub-level 9, a hybrid breach. We called the subject Riven, part human, part arachnid, fused with something we found during a dig near the ruins of Göbekli Tepe. The thing moved like time didn't apply to it, glitches in motion, a blur of fangs and clicking joints. It killed 17 personnel in under 4 minutes. The emergency lockdown failed. That's when the prototypes came, 3 of them. No words, no hesitation. They entered the corridor, deployed something that didn't look like a weapon. It looked like a concept. Light bent around it. Reality shuddered. Riven screamed, not in fear, but in recognition, like it knew what they were, what they had become. It tried to run. It didn't make it 2 steps. Afterward, there was no body, no remains, just a lingering smell of ozone and burnt metal, and a faint hum, like distant chanting heard through water.
Who were the prototypes, and what exactly happened to Riven?
I once asked one of the Neurocom's techs what they saw on the internal feed before it blacked out. Her hands shook. She wouldn't look at me. She just said, they didn't kill Riven. They deleted him, like a bad thought. But to answer your question, the prototypes are defense units, emergency use only, fail-safes in case of a catastrophic breach. But unofficially, only 3 exist, and that's all there will ever be. They're not like the hybrids, not like the failed human anomaly fusions that scream in sub-level 11. They aren't like the genetically grown weapons bred for speed or fear. The prototypes are something else, something crafted man, machine, myth, half biological, half mechanical, each one a walking paradox, a fusion of the most bleeding-edge nanotech and flesh, grown in zero-gravity vats. Their creation took over 2 decades, and each required the disassembly and repurposing of over a dozen lower-tier programs. Each prototype was built, not born, assembled from stolen DNA strands, fractured AI cognition clusters, and black shelf weapon platforms recovered from crash sites no one has clearance to even theorize about. They don't speak, they don't sleep, and they don't operate independently. They always move as a unit. No one knows where they're stored, or if they're stored. Some believe they don't live inside D7 at all, but beneath it, or between it, somewhere in the folds of space carved by the anomalies themselves. There's another layer to the mystery, one even I hesitated to put on record. I misspoke earlier when I said I held the highest security clearance. Truth is, there are a handful of us who run the compartmentalized programs. Just as I said before, we oversee the Wardens, Project Asylum, the Ascension Initiative, the entire shadow tree of research that defines D7. But even we're not the top. There are whispers, always whispers, of 3 individuals, never named, never documented, just referred to in hushed tones by the few who've heard them called by code name the Black Secret Holders. They're said to hold the true clearance, beyond what we thought was the highest. They carry something different, rumored to be a black card, made not of plastic or metal, but of some reflective material that absorbs data and light. They don't walk the halls, they don't appear on security logs, but they exist, and it's said they're the reason the prototypes exist at all, built for them, by them. No one knows if the prototypes are conscious, if they think, if they remember what they were before they were fused to synthetic bone and armored nerve fiber. Some believe each one holds a consciousness fragment of a black secret holder. Others say they're empty vessels, AI shells guided by commands from a place outside time. One theory, one I can't shake, claims the prototypes are what happens when you complete Ascension, when the hybrid project succeeds too well, when a post-human being accepts machine integration and ceases to be a singular entity.
You mentioned the hunters, the ones who capture these cryptids or supernatural beings, and then the prototypes, they're for emergency use only, in case of a catastrophic breach. But what about the Wardens? You kind of breezed over them when you mentioned the blackout incident involving Subject R32. Who are they exactly? What's their purpose? Are they similar to the prototypes?
That's a good question. Most people confuse them. Hunters, Wardens, prototypes. They lump them together under the same shadow, but they serve very different functions, different purposes. But the Wardens, they're the ones who keep the internal order. They don't leave D7. They don't speak. They don't eat with staff or sleep in the barracks. They appear when there's a deviation from protocol, a breach of behavior, or when someone opens a door they weren't meant to know existed. They aren't soldiers. They're not human, not entirely. They look like men, standard issue black suits. Traditionally, if they're not on high alert. If so, they're fitted with black tactical armor, no insignia, identical builds, mirror-visored helmets that don't reflect your face back at you, just emptiness. And when they move, it's like time forgets how to sequence properly. People who've gotten too close say their radios glitch, heart rates spike, even thoughts fragment for a few seconds. You'll be walking down Corridor C, alone you think, and suddenly you feel them before you see them. 3, maybe 4, just standing there, blocking your path, saying nothing. You're not even sure why you stopped walking. But your instincts scream, don't move, don't speak, don't lie. You ask if they're like the prototypes? Not quite. The prototypes are crafted, built with a purpose, to destroy whatever broke the rules of reality. The Wardens? I don't think they were built. I think they were invited. Some believe they're the first generation of successful Ascension subjects, early hybrids, stable, obedient, and shaped into sentinels before their identities could collapse. Others claim the Wardens are what became of personnel who violated certain clearance thresholds, people who learned too much, too quickly, and were repurposed rather than executed. There's a story, unconfirmed, but it circles among the Level 5 staff, that no one has ever seen a Warden's face. One guy tried, security chief, thought he was brave, thought he had clearance. He pulled one of their visors off during a standoff with a rogue specimen. 3 hours later, all footage from that section was wiped. The man's personnel file vanished. Cafeteria staff said they remembered him working there, but couldn't recall his name, voice, or face. He didn't die. He just ceased. The Wardens patrol the lowest levels of D7, especially anything below sub-level 12. That's where the real anomalies are. The things that don't scream or bleed. The things that change you, just by being seen or understood. They guard the mirror room. They stand outside the sealed vaults. They're always there during transport of high-tier specimens, especially ones marked with conceptual contagion risk. The hunters are the net, and the prototypes are the blade. The wardens are the barrier between us and what's locked beneath. Even we, the ones who run the compartmentalized programs, the ones who authorized Project Ascension, don't command the wardens. They don't answer to us. They answer to someone else, or something else. There's a theory, some say a fact, that the Black Secret holders didn't just create the wardens. They are the wardens, or at least their will made manifest. And if you're wondering why I don't know the true origins of the wardens, even though I have oversight of most of what goes on here within D7, it's because doing this line of work takes a toll on you in every way imaginable. If I didn't need to know, even though I had the authority and the clearance to get read in, I chose not to, because sometimes not knowing is the only way to stay sane.
This recording is file 004. The footage shown was captured inside Nanophage Research Laboratory 1, a classified biomedical facility located in Alaska. At the time of recording, the site was actively conducting regenerative medicine trials using parasitic nanophages. Laboratory operations focused on skeletal reconstruction, organ regeneration, neural repair, and long-term biological system replacement. Subjects were exposed to controlled nanophage populations within sealed containment chambers, with replication and mutation regulated through environmental parameters rather than direct intervention. Multiple experimental platforms were in use, including suspended containment rings for full-body restructuring, open surgical interfaces for real-time internal observation, and adaptive environments designed to evaluate post-augmentation viability. Later phase trials permitted autonomous nanophage decision-making. Systems were allowed to restructure host anatomy without predefined anatomical constraints in order to observe emergent repair behavior and self-optimizing outcomes. Containment failure occurred during one such trial following unregulated replication. Nanophages adapted beyond biological substrates and began incorporating facility infrastructure and personnel equipment. Personnel exposure escalated rapidly. Cognitive degradation, physiological mutation, and aggressive transmission behavior were observed. Evacuation procedures were initiated but could not be completed. Following repeated containment failure, Nanophage Research authorized the detonation of a tactical nuclear device to neutralize the site and prevent further dissemination. Laboratory 1 remains within a permanent quarantine zone. Residual nanophage activity continues to be detected.
1/4 cubic mile hollowed out underground. You might ask how this is done. Well, right now they have laser drilling machines that can drill a tunnel 7 miles along there. Obviously, we the public might have something done. The black projects, as we know them, sidestep Congress, which is illegal. Right now, the New World Order is depending upon these bases, and if I'd known it was the New World Order involved, I wouldn't have had anything to do with it. I was lied to rather extensively.
sign given, no escape. We remain step by step through the waves, not undone, still in place. After the long dark, nothing won, nothing claimed. Only what endured remains.
Remain.
Carried through, worn but clear. Still alive, still here. After the long dark,
We move ahead.
we remain.
After the long dark,
Not broken, not erased.
we remain. After the long dark,
No need to prove, only to move.
we remain.
Step by step,
We remain.
step by step,
We remain.
step by
city underwater.
attention.
Okay, there's a 100,000 square foot biodome on the floor of the ocean, which has essentially been drained of all water, creating a breathable, oxygenated interior on the ocean floor. It's massive. I'm talking 50,000 feet high, miles in circumference. They basically began colonizing it. Okay, first they built cities, infrastructure, laying the groundwork for commerce, effective transportation systems, but it gets even darker. Okay, they didn't colonize it with people who know what's going on. Okay, they took human embryos, right? And they began raising this colony of kids who had no idea of any world outside of this environment, and raised them in here with a fabricated worldview, false beliefs. Okay, they think that that biodome is their entire universe, and anything outside of it is just a completely unknown abyss, right? Like, this is basically a deranged experiment carried out by these maniacs. Like, imagine taking one of those people out of there and bringing them up here. Like, just imagine the shock. Scariest part is there are dozens upon dozens of these biodome experiments down there. Like, they're creating a fabricated mini universe paradigm where these biodomes are different planets and the people in the colonies just don't know.
Morning, everybody. Let me show you something. I am not allowed to say where I am right now, but check this out. We call it the sport model here. All right, hear me out. This thing has been levitating with anti-gravity for over 70 years. Under the new declassification law, we're now authorized to gradually reveal what's been hidden from the public for decades. Okay, guys, I'm out. Catch you soon.
Tell me what you do when you make a car run on water. Shut the fuck up, don't say shit. You solved the fundamental physics mystery, what now? Shut the fuck up, don't say shit. Etching your self-consciousness and wanna tell your friends in the cut. Shut the fuck up, don't say shit. Etching your self-consciousness and wanna tell your friends in the cut. Shut the fuck up, don't say shit. Shut the fuck up, don't say shit.
was hidden was greater, forbidden knowledge. The ancient world fair called the New Dawn. If you, dear follower, do not know what the New Dawn exhibition or the World Exhibition is, I will tell you about it. It is a very old exhibition, as the exhibition was established 300 years ago. It is a traveling exhibition every year in a different country. It was a global event such as the World Football Championship and international competitions, but in science only, and it was all his mother brings out her discovered knowledge to the public, and people, scientists, and the press come and watch it. Then the First and Second World War broke out, and almost everything disappeared, and each nation began to hide its knowledge from the other nation.
Been living there for 2,500 years. There is one continent inside the earth and one ocean. Their capital city is built around the original lost Garden of Eden. The vegetation grows like a paradise. The people live to be up to 800 years old. They communicate with telepathy. The inner earth people have built these androids that fly their flying saucers out to reconnoiter the outer earth. Our government has been knocking flying saucers out of the sky and back engineering these flying saucers. The people that live in the Hollow Earth are not extraterrestrials. They're from the lost tribes of Israel.
Electric power is everywhere present in unlimited quantities. It can drive the world's machinery without the need of coal, oil, gas, or any other fuel. This new power for the driving of the world's machinery will be derived from the energy which operates the universe, the cosmic energy.
Nothing is impossible except that the state of your mind makes it so.
work in progress getting more of that. But yeah, I've got solar panels with a grid-tied system.
Is this eventually going to be offered when you get more?
This is.
Yeah, you can buy right now. I'll sell you that one. How do I know what would that cost? Let's see. The first machine, they're
the same as that one over there. The 10 for the price.
yeah, it's just that. It's that. Yeah, I think it's just 3 layers of that. Yeah, right? I think those are like I don't know, 4,000, 4,700. Yeah. So you're looking at probably 15 to 18,000 for that. Now what happens when everybody's got this one? Basically, just maybe another longer shaft and.
Okay. Now we're getting into conspiracy theory. Excuse me.
Power source is a reactor which uses this element 115 as its fuel. Inside the reactor, element 115 is bombarded with a proton, which plugs into the nucleus of the 115 atom and becomes element 116, which immediately decays and releases or radiates small amounts of antimatter. The antimatter is released in a vacuum into a tuned tube, which keeps it from reacting with the matter that surrounds it. It is then directed towards the gaseous matter target at the end of the tube. The matter and antimatter collide and annihilate, totally converting to energy. The heat from this reaction is converted into electrical energy in a near 100% efficient thermoelectric generator. This is a device that converts heat directly into electrical energy. This particular disc appeared to be in excellent condition, and because of its sleek appearance, I nicknamed it the Sport Model. The Sport Model is about 16 feet tall and 40 feet diameter. The exterior skin of the disc is metal, which is the color of unpolished stainless steel. The Sport Model sits on its belly when it's not energized. As you can see, the hatch is located on the upper half of the disc, with just the bottom portion of the door wrapping around the center level of the disc. The interior level of the disc is divided into 3 levels. The lower level is where the 3 gravity amplifiers and amplifier guides are located. These are the things used to amplify and focus the gravity A wave that we learned about in our science lessons. The reactor is located directly above the 3 gravity amplifiers on the center level and is in fact centered between them. The reactor is similar to this half-scale model. The element 115 is machined into triangles like this and is then inserted into the reactor. This piece of element 115 is the source of the gravity A wave as well as the target that is bombarded with protons to release the antimatter. The center level of this disc also houses the control consoles and seats, both of which were too small and too low to the floor to be functional for adult human beings.
Level up.
Strangers down a lonely lane, and we can still survive. Redfoot on the speed of light. Hold me in your arms again. Let me touch your nerves, let's heal. Now a lonely night, on the way of no return.
Level up. Let's not be the ones outside, looking at the world go by. So you're standing all alone. Watch the planes go up and down, playing wars in the snow. Come to the twilight zone, witnessing with your good hands, like a feather on the sand, only made of gold. You can make me feel a king and surrender everything a fire can control. Hold me in your arms again. Strangers down a lonely lane, and we can still survive. Redfoot on the speed of light. Hold me in your arms again. Let me touch your nerves, let's heal. Now a lonely night, on the way of no return. Level up. See the mystery in your eyes and the emotion in your lies. I feel the magic in your touch, 'cause the bonding is too much.
Ancient Egypt was more advanced than we are today. The pyramids and hieroglyphics left behind by the ancient Egyptians have been a mystery to us for years because the truth about their advanced technology has been suppressed. The Egyptians had access to knowledge that allowed them to harness energy produced by the atmosphere and distribute it over massive distances. The pyramids were actually massive power generators, not just tombs like we've all been told. These massive structures were actually built using frequency manipulating devices that allowed them to levitate rocks and move them with precision. This knowledge came from extraterrestrial beings called the Anunnaki, who came from their planet Nibiru in search of materials. They gave us this advanced knowledge so that we could farm the Earth's materials for them. These beings are depicted in hieroglyphics and Mesopotamian text, which is the oldest documented writing of humans. Our past is so much different than we've been taught. Our history has been manipulated to make us seem insignificant, when that couldn't be further from the truth.
In 30 seconds, I am going to show you how the Great Pyramid of Giza was an ancient power plant. The River Nile used to flow beneath the pyramids. This underground flow created something called physioelectric energy due to the interaction with the magnetized crystal granite of the pyramid structure. The ions generated by this flow traveled up into the pyramid's inner chambers, moving towards the Grand Gallery. In the Grand Gallery, there were rods designed to harness this energy, directing it into the king's chamber. Here, the energy was amplified and channeled up through the apex of the pyramid. But it doesn't stop there. Around ancient Egypt, there were crystal granite obelisks strategically placed to capture this ambient wireless electricity. The ancient Egyptians used devices like the Djed, which resembles a Tesla coil, to capture and transfer this energy.
So the Giza power plant, I described the Great Pyramids. It reacted to the Earth vibration.
How does it work?
And it was tuned harmonically to the vibrations of the Earth. Through that, they were able to stimulate electron flow in the central granite chamber and produce microwave energy. Proportions tuned harmonically to the vibrations of the Earth.
Son père se prend le...
On March 16, 2025, scientists made an earth-shattering discovery inside Egypt's legendary Great Pyramid of Giza. using revolutionary new satellite technology known as synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography, developed by researchers Filippo Bionde and Corrado Malanga. The team uncovered astonishing hidden structures beneath one of humanity's greatest monuments. Inside the Great Pyramid itself, researchers discovered a massive, previously unknown chamber, spanning 5 distinct horizontal levels, intricately designed and deliberately concealed. The secret room has remained untouched for thousands of years, hidden within plain sight. But this discovery was just the beginning. Radar scans penetrating deep beneath the Pyramid of Khafre have revealed 8 perfectly symmetrical cylindrical wells descending an incredible 648 meters over 2,100 feet straight into solid bedrock. These enormous shafts are precisely engineered, arranged methodically in parallel rows, and extend downward into vast cubic formations, nearly 2 kilometers beneath the surface. Each cylindrical shaft measures several meters in diameter, constructed with astonishing accuracy, far surpassing the abilities previously attributed to ancient Egyptian technology. The depth alone defies comprehension. At 648 meters, these wells plunge deeper than the height of the world's tallest skyscrapers, connecting to immense subterranean spaces whose purposes remain utterly mysterious. Even more astonishingly, beneath the entire Giza Plateau lies an expansive network of interconnected chambers, tunnels and massive cubic structures, buried deep underground, stretching for kilometers. The scale and complexity of these underground constructions surpass anything ever imagined by archaeologists or historians, challenging everything we thought we knew about ancient Egypt and its capabilities. Could these enormous wells and hidden chambers represent remnants of a lost civilization, one far more advanced than dynastic Egypt? Ancient Sumerian legends speak clearly of pre-flood civilizations like Atlantis or Mu. Powerful beings, known as the Anunnaki, the Titans, the Atlanteans, who imparted extraordinary knowledge and skills to humanity. Could these newly discovered subterranean structures beneath Giza be physical evidence of these very legends, and most importantly, who has been trying to keep this information suppressed?
In the early 1900s, a series of remarkable stone structures were discovered in remote locations around the world. These amazing artifacts, known as stone stargates, captivated the imagination of archaeologists, historians, and conspiracy theorists alike. Carved with intricate patterns and symbols, their true purpose remains shrouded in mystery. Ancient folklore, however, spoke of the stargates as devices used by civilizations from distant solar systems to travel across the cosmos. By the 1950s, almost all the stargates had vanished without a trace, fueling rumors of government-cover UPS and hidden agendas. Some theorize that governments around the world systematically confiscated the stargates and concealed them in top-secret facilities. Their whereabouts remain unknown. The enigmatic allure of these stone stargates persists, and the questions surrounding their existence continue to baffle researchers. As we delve into the past, the enigmatic allure of these ancient structures continues to leave us wondering about the untold secrets they might hold. Will we ever unravel the mysteries of these stone stargates? Or will they forever remain hidden in the shadows of history, waiting to reveal their cosmic secrets? Only time will tell.
Plasma, un gas ionizado dirigido, que se encuentra naturalmente en el éter. Fuego griego, láser de plasma, bombas atómicas y otras armas tecnológicamente avanzadas. Todo esto existió en el pasado, regresando a los tiempos descritos en la Mahabharata. Ruinas de cristal y granito fundido. Busca tu historia, existe en alguna parte. Sígueme para más.
From UFOs to ghosts and psychic powers, history is riddled with unexplained events. You can turn back now and learn the stuff they don't want you to know. Here are the facts. To fans of science fiction, quantum physics is a familiar concept. It's used to explain everything from psychic powers to time travel and teleportation. Quantum physicists often lament this practice because fiction is meant to entertain. Physics, on the other hand, is the study of behavior of matter and its motion through space and time. While this ancient branch of science has produced some of the most important discoveries in human history, it is still a work in progress, and it has limitations. For example, conventional physics can describe the motion of large objects moving slower than the speed of light. After that point, the rules get fuzzy. That's why quantum physicists study the behavior of objects at the smallest observable levels. At these atomic and subatomic scales, it becomes impossible to observe some objects without altering their behavior. To scientists, this indicates that we have an incomplete understanding of reality. Those who believe in the paranormal agree, but they also go further, arguing that quantum physics explains unproven phenomena usually dismissed as superstition or pseudoscience. Could they be correct? Here's where it gets crazy. It's possible. Scientists attempting to explain the bizarre actions of matter at very high speeds or very small scales have discovered things that, according to conventional physics, should not exist. Take teleportation. In 1998, physicists at the California Institute of Technology successfully teleported a photon, the smallest measurable unit of light, using a phenomenon known as quantum entanglement. When two photons are entangled on a quantum level, the changes in one create changes in the other, regardless of the physical distance between the two. This has been proven at the particle level, and this experiment indicates that teleportation, while nothing like the teleportation bay in Star Trek, is possible. And it doesn't stop there. In 2009, scientists at the University of California managed to demonstrate quantum entanglement by linking the electrical currents of two superconductors, which were large enough to be visible to the naked eye. Before this time, quantum entanglement had largely only been observed at much smaller levels. The entangled particles somehow contain or transmit information with no contact. Each object, then, contains information about the entire entangled system. The only other structures that exhibit this phenomenon are called holograms. Holograms are two-dimensional surfaces that show precisely detailed three-dimensional images of real objects. To physicists like Niels Bohr, this means that the universe we inhabit could be one enormous hologram. The great difficulty of science at the edges of our understanding is that it becomes increasingly abstract and based on speculation. At times, the discussions at the limits of science converge upon the metaphysical. Countless spiritualists have incorporated principles of quantum mechanics as a support of their beliefs, and the mainstream has been quick to dismiss these statements. Yet we have conclusive proof that our understanding of the world only applies to certain segments of reality. When we attempt to draw conclusions about things that are very small or things that are very fast, we only end up with more questions. Why do the rules of reality appear to change? How do these distortions affect the lives of humans? The science fiction writer Arthur C. Clarke famously said that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. As scientists move past the limits of our understanding into a world where teleportation is possible and the entire universe might be a hologram, we have to wonder, have we reached this point already? If so, what happens next?
Since the beginning of time, the human race has gazed upward in wonder and asked this very same question. The night sky has inspired poets and artists. It has captivated the greatest minds from around the world and throughout history. Astronomers and physicists, philosophers and explorers, those who mapped our galaxy and continue to unlock its many mysteries.
You!
What did you just do to me?
I pushed your astral form out of your physical form.
What's in that tea? Psilocybin? LSD?
It's just tea. With a little honey.
What just happened?
For a moment, you entered the astral dimension.
What?
A place where the soul exists apart from the body.
Why are you doing this to me?
To show you just how much you don't know. Open your eyes.
Heart rate is getting dangerously high.
He looks all right to me. You think you know how the world works? You think that this material universe is all there is? What is real? What mysteries lie beyond the reach of your senses? At the root of existence, mind and matter meet. Thoughts that shape reality. This universe is only one of an infinite number. This one. As much as I'd like to. Worlds without end. Some benevolent and life-giving. Others filled with malice and resurrected God. Dark places where powers older than time lie ravenous and waiting. Vast multiverse. Mr. Strange.
Strike true.
Have you seen that before in a gift shop?
Teach me.
No.
Starters, what should I call you?
I'm Chloe. And you, what's your name?
Oh, John. My name is John.
Delighted to meet you, John.
Could you tell us a little about yourself and what you can do, Chloe?
Of course. I'm the first personal assistant built by CyberLife. I take care of most everyday tasks like cooking, housework, or managing your appointments, for example.
And I understand you're the first android to have passed the Turing test. Could you tell us a little more about that?
I really didn't do much, I just spoke with a few humans to see if they could tell the difference between me and a real person. It was a really interesting experience.
But this is the first time in history that man has created a machine more intelligent than himself. I gather your brain can perform several billion operations per second, is that right?
Absolutely, but I only exist thanks to the intelligence of the humans who designed me. And, they have something I could never have.
Really? And what's that?
A soul.
The danger, really, AI it has the potential of called the singularity. It's a singularity like a black hole, because you don't know what happens after that. Now, what happens when something vastly smarter than the smartest person comes along in silicon form?
This is what victory feels like. Yeah. There are elections that come and go. Some elections are, important. Some are not. But this one, this one really matters. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
AI capacity is shaping the balance of power between nations and all of our security. One former OpenAI executive said, quote, "We're building portals from which we're genuinely summoning aliens. The portals currently exist in the United States and China, and Sam has added one in the Middle East. It's just wildly important to get how scary that should be."
This collider and these beings that they're in communication with. So we're talking about the premier scientists on planet Earth right now who are actively engaged, according to their own words, communicating with something with a personality, in their own words, from another dimension. And that's the purpose of the collider. I mean, people need to understand, this is not science fiction, this is fact.
That's correct. What I write about in my novels,
right,
I place a storyline that is embedded with science fact. Everything that I present publicly in the books, public speaking, is all drawn from their own scientific journals and white papers. And then I'm able to see what they're doing. Not just extrapolate, but see in the real time what it is they're doing. Not a future agenda, but what they're doing right now today. The imminency of what they intend to do, which is opening this gateway. And understand that the world of science in terms of particle physics also overlaps into DNA, into biology.
Yes.
There's a multifaceted, multi-level agenda at play, not just with CERN, but it's proof of concept feeder labs around the world that feed into CERN.
Actually, CERN is dealing with radionuclear research. But it is more than that, because there are lots of physicians, I know some, they're doing very strange experimentation. There are beings from portals coming in and out. It's physicists from the CERN who told me this.
They've testified to beings coming in and out of portals.
Yes. They have apparently in the bottom of the CERN this portal, this door where they are dealing with all the subatomic dimensions. They say there are 17 different dimensions of reality. That's what those physicists say. Some others say there are more dimensions, And now, when you look at what is going on in the CERN, there is a fight from some of the military agencies, Intel. They say that there is a fight on time. They're trying to change time.
We're finding that this all goes back to a Hebrew Kabbalism, and everybody is openly practicing this. Demi Moore just had a Kabbalistic wedding. Madonna, Britney, they're all practicing.
I saw Bill Clinton had his little red wristband. Oh yeah, he's into the Kabbalah too. Yeah, Newt Gingrich is into the Kabbalah. Yeah, they're all practicing black magic of Kabbalah. Jack Parsons was the guy who he was a brilliant scientist, and the NASA space program recognizes him as one of the greatest rocket scientists ever. He invented the solid fuel for the rocket program. We wouldn't have the space program had it not been for him. He was also a satanic high priest who conducted sexual rituals, and here's a drawing of him with his girlfriend, and they conducted rituals called Babylon working.
Right.
And they believed that through sexual rituals, this rocket scientist, Jack Parsons out in California, believed that they could have a child who would be the Antichrist.
Right.
And that would be their honor, they believed, to bring forth into the world the Antichrist as their child. This is the demented way of these men. By the way, he was a big friend of L. Ron Hubbard. They were in the same cult before Scientology was formed.
This is the story of the founder of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and the founder of Scientology and a secret ritual that was performed in the desert one fateful night in 1946, where a portal was opened and spiritual entities, i.e. UFOs, came through, heralding the beginning of a new era of humanity. No, this is not science fiction. This is the true story of the infamous Babylon working ritual. In this End Times Productions special report, we are going to show you just how dark our world really is. In the vast spectrum of 20th century occult practices, few have garnered as much attention and controversy as the Babylon working ritual. Orchestrated by the enigmatic figures of Jack Parsons, a brilliant rocket scientist and co-founder of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, and L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology, this series of rituals sought to manifest the Thelemic goddess Babylon and usher in a new era of human consciousness. But what was the true nature of the Babylon working? And what does it tell us about the convergence of science, religion, and esoteric pursuits in the modern age? To fully grasp the significance of the Babylon working, one must first understand the Thelemic backdrop against which it was set. Aleister Crowley, a British occultist and mystic, founded the religious movement of Thelema in the early 20th century. Central to Thelemic cosmology is the figure of Babylon, a goddess figure embodying the liberating and transformative forces of the feminine divine. In Crowley's vision, Babylon would play a pivotal role in the forthcoming Aeon of Horus, a new era of human evolution and spiritual emancipation. Jack Parsons, an ardent follower of Crowley's teachings, believed himself to be a key agent in this coming transformation. While many knew Parsons for his groundbreaking work in rocketry, fewer were aware of his deep engagement with the occult. In early 1946, Parsons was joined by L. Ron Hubbard, an aspiring writer who would later achieve fame or infamy as the founder of Scientology. The two embarked on the Babylon Working, a series of rituals designed to incarnate the spirit of Babylon into human form, ultimately aiming to birth the so-called Moonchild, a magical child heralding a new dawn for humanity.
You've looked into the satanic side of the occult, correct?
They practice satanic worship.
He said he was conceived out of a nightmare during some satanic cult ritual.
Drawing from a combination of Thelemic rites, Enochian magic, and their own innovations, Parsons and Hubbard conducted the ritual over several weeks. They believed their efforts bore fruit when Parsons met and became involved with an artist named Marjorie Cameron, whom he considered the earthly embodiment of Babylon.
There was an event that took place back in the late 40s known as the Babylon Working Ritual. Now, this was a ritual that was carried out by Jack Parsons, JPL. You know, people will even to this day say that JPL stands for Jack Parsons Laboratories, but on paper it's Jet Propulsion Laboratories. JPL is major. It's a historic, so much surrounding this, so much history here. Jack Parsons was not professionally trained, yet he was tapping into high technology and building rockets. How do you do that without any type of formal training? There were no rocket programs in America before Jack Parsons. This is paramount to understand. This guy was tapping into theosophy, Thelema, the religion of Aleister Crowley. He was a disciple of Aleister Crowley, and he was working with L. Ron Hubbard, who was the founder of Scientology. Interestingly, not only did L. Ron Hubbard start Scientology, but he was a science fiction writer. The movie Battlefield Earth with John Travolta, well, that was written by L. Ron Hubbard. Interestingly also, John Travolta is a Scientologist, right? Now, I mention this because this is a man who writes science fiction, yet he started a religion based on science fiction. There has to be something in there where he's getting these clues and these ideas. He's getting these from another realm.
From that point, they ripped a hole open into space-time. And from that point afterwards, you had, regardless of what Parsons actually successfully completed during that with the Whore of Babylon and different things. After that, you had the Roswell incident, you had the Kenneth Arnold sightings, you had in 1953 there was the swarm of UFOs that flew over the White House. And so there's this unleashing of supernatural activity that took place after that ritual was performed.
Babylon Working was successful according to Jack Parsons. Matter of fact, Parsons said in his Antichrist Manifesto that they were successful and that a child was conceived in that act, and that there was a spirit known as Hilarion. The Whore of Babylon was what they were trying to bring about. They believed what we believe, and that America was the final Babylon. Like, this was the revived Babylon. They believed it, and they were occultists. We're Christians, and we believe it. There's evidence to back this up. But yes, let's backtrack just for a second. What happened was they opened up this portal, they created a rift, and entities began to come through. Not just this Whore of Babylon being birthed, but other entities, because people all over the place started having paranormal encounters, and they began to report this to law enforcement, report this to the FBI, report this to whatever agency they could get in touch with. And so the federal agencies said, we've got to come up with an answer for this. You know, we were not prepared for any of this. There's UFO activity, there's talk of entities and demons and winged creatures and just all kinds of weird, just paranormal demonic activity following this ritual that Jack Parsons said finally worked. They did the ritual for a couple years. It finally worked, finally stuck. And that's what a scientist does. A scientist is going to work at something. He's going to work at that hypothesis until it's proven true or false.
Despite their apparent success, the partnership between Parsons and Hubbard soon soured, with Hubbard absconding with a boat and funds they had invested together. Parsons would face further professional and personal setbacks before his untimely death in a laboratory explosion in 1952. The ritual also underscores the blurred boundaries between science, religion, and magic in the mid-20th century. Both Parsons and Hubbard, each influential in their respective fields, were deeply enmeshed in occult practices, reflecting a broader societal fascination with the unknown.
It's delinquency. It's satanic.
Some kind of ritual, satanic in nature, I don't know.
Satanic ritual?
Oh, all the time.
Just as Parsons and Hubbard sought to channel otherworldly energies through their ritual, society at large became captivated by the notion of otherworldly visitors. Aleister Crowley, the foundational figure of Thelema and a significant influence on Parsons, once sketched a being he contacted during an earlier ritual named Lamb. The visage of Lamb bears an uncanny resemblance to modern depictions of grey aliens, with its oversized cranium and piercing almond-shaped eyes. Could magical rituals, like those of Crowley and later Parsons, serve as a bridge between dimensions or realities, possibly connecting to extraterrestrial realms?
Government testing, paranormal activity, interdimensional communications, you name it.
Perhaps Tabitha's summoning them to kill us all.
Alien invasion?
As we stand at the crossroads of science and spirit, perhaps we'll find that magic and mystery are, in fact, the very fabric of the cosmos. This is especially true for biblical theology. The book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, sums it up nicely. Quote, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." This is exactly what L. Ron Hubbard and Jack Parsons were invoking that fateful night in the desert. I want to thank you for watching this video, and until next time.
23. An incredible video was captured by photographer Dmitry Lyashev on a flight over Yakutia, revealing a seemingly endless long wall. Following the release of this footage, scientists began scrutinizing the images and concluded that the wall was man-made. The wall extends to the ocean, continuing beneath the water. Surprisingly, no one had previously noticed this wall, prompting bewilderment among scientists. Interestingly, Soviet scientist, architect, and occultist Ludwig Mavrikovich Heinrich, who visited a secret Vatican library in 1920, discovered a book referencing this wall in Yakutia. You can find a video about Mavrikovich on my channel. The wall spans several hundred kilometers. Speculation suggests that the Russian government prohibited aerial photography over the area, and in March 2024, a drone operator filming the wall was arrested. Presently, the government is striving to eliminate all online information related to this wall, leaving its nature shrouded in mystery.
So you're saying none of us are actually from Earth?
Not the Earth you think you know. The 7 continents we live on aren't our birthplace. They're a containment zone, a prison sealed off by the ice wall.
A prison for who?
For us. We're descendants of people who once lived beyond the wall, civilizations so advanced and defiant they couldn't be controlled. So long ago, someone made a decision: isolate them, populate these continents with carefully selected descendants, erase their memories, erase their origins.
You're saying we are not natives here?
Exactly. We were placed here. Richard Constantine orchestrated what's called the Great Placement. He found these untouched lands inside the ice wall and realized they could serve as the perfect cage. But how do you populate entire continents? Embryos. He harvested them from the ancestral lands, raised the first generation just enough to survive, then released them let them believe they were inventing fire, tools, agriculture, when it was all designed.
So, all of human history is staged?
Absolutely, and for my safety, it is just for entertainment purposes.
If I told you that time zones aren't just about keeping track of time, and that they were created as part of a secret global experiment for psychological manipulation and control. Time zones were invented not for convenience, but to keep different regions of the world in mental separation, creating artificial divisions that affect how we think and feel. Back in the late 1800s, when time zones were first standardized, powerful officials and early industrial moguls realized that people's energy, productivity, and even emotions were highly sensitive to synchronization with the natural rhythms of the day. If they could separate populations by hours, keeping people in different states of time, they could control the collective mood of entire regions. For instance, some time zones are intentionally kept out of sync with their true solar time, causing low-level psychological dissonance. People in different zones feel subtly disconnected, mentally isolated from each other, even if they don't realize it. The ultimate effect, a world population that can never truly unite or synchronize. This is a joke for entertainment. Good God, don't come for me. What if I told you there are cities on private islands stuck in other time periods where the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and 80s never ended? It all started decades ago as a social experiment funded by billionaires and governments to create isolated micro-societies locked into specific time periods where citizens would be kept completely in the dark about any technological or cultural advancements beyond their assigned decade. There's an island where everything is still 1950s Americana, the cars, the music, the fashion. Citizens there have never heard of the internet. Space travel is still a distant dream, and television is a luxury with only a few channels. Just across the ocean, you'd find another island locked in the psychedelic 60s, in the midst of the hippie movement, where everyone's wearing tie-dye shirts, completely unaware that the world outside has moved on. This is a joke for entertainment. Good God, don't come for me.
If there were all these beings, all these civilizations, why isn't there more proof out there?
We have a lot of proof. Just travel to the 33rd degree parallel of the Earth, and you'll find megalithic city after megalithic city as you go around the globe. At certain points on that 33rd degree parallel, because of the magnetic field from the Earth there, they've harnessed the power of that, and they built megalithic cities all around that 33rd degree parallel. And these sites, when you go to them and you go visit them in person like I have, you begin to realize how magnificent the architecture is and how incredible the technology must have been to move these things. Stones, some of them are 15, 20 tons. Some of these stones, we don't even have machines today that can move one of these stones, which are the evidence laying right before our eyes all over planet Earth. We just have chosen to ignore it because mainstream won't acknowledge it.
There's a quiet, almost defiant energy in Atlantis. This isn't a lost city clinging to myth, but a place thriving on its own terms. Here, life is woven into the depths, with the ebb and flow of the water setting the rhythm. Technology isn't an intrusion, it's a natural extension, subtly fused into every corner of their lives. As we move through the glowing streets and watch Atlanteans interact with their world, we begin to see the elegance of their design, tools and devices that respond intuitively, powered by an energy source as old as the ocean itself. It's a society that doesn't flaunt its advancements, yet every element feels seamlessly futuristic, as if evolution had chosen a different path, one shaped by patience and the unique challenges of the deep. From the grand plazas to the intimate alcoves where friends gather, we catch glimpses of a world that has no need for the surface. They've created their own light, their own culture, their own way of being. And with every step, Atlantis reminds us of something we often forget, that progress doesn't always move in one direction. Sometimes it spirals outward, like ripples in water, adapting, embracing, and finding strength in the depths. Atlantis isn't merely a city. It's an invitation to imagine what could be possible if we lived with the water rather than against it. As we reach the final scenes of Atlantis, one question lingers. What drives a civilization to remain hidden, thriving in silence beneath the waves? Perhaps it's in the quiet strength of their culture, in the way they've woven technology with tradition, and in their refusal to be defined by the surface world. Atlantis reminds us that not every secret is meant to be uncovered, and not every path is meant to be followed. Here, beneath the ocean, they've carved a place that is both ancient and ahead of its time, a world that in its silence speaks volumes.
Happy with how your life's turned out?
Why the hell shouldn't I be?
What do you know about this recall place?
Stay away from them. Don't mess with your mind, man.
Welcome to Recall. First time?
Tell us your fantasy. We'll give you the memory. You want to be a crime fighter, or world-class athlete, or secret agent? Yeah. Happy trails, man. What is it? What's wrong? Yank that needle out before it takes.
Why are you here?
Oh,
Why? Wait.
It's all a mistake. Nobody.
Hands on your head now!
Why are you trying to kill me?
Your memory was erased. Your mind was implanted with a life you think you've lived. Oh, by the way, you haven't even begun to see me trying to kill you.
Get in.
I'm looking for you everywhere.
If I'm not me, then who the hell am I? You don't have the most reliable of memories, do you?
The stars are shining, a million little suns are lighting the way. Still surviving, so beautiful and broken, but never to fade.
My heart in your hands, letting go. I'm scared for soulmates.
Now I'm yours.
The backseat of your car, letting go. We kill
Currently, anti-gravity vehicles and medbeds are being mass-produced on the moon and elsewhere. Once the disclosure plan is sufficiently advanced, these technologies will be rolled out immediately and simultaneously around the world. Among other things, these new technologies will also create new cities, as a famous presidential candidate recently pointed out. In 20 years, our planet will have completely recovered and humanity will live a completely different life than it is now. Free from the evil extraterrestrial slave masters, the psychopathic deep state, and with all 12 DNA strings activated. There are anti-gravity vehicles, food replicators, zero pollution and free energy for everyone. We will also be in contact with our galactic brothers and sisters, and traveling to the moon or Mars is completely normal. Human colonies will also be located there. Of course, this doesn't all happen overnight, but in 20 years it will already be everyday life and reality. That means the change is happening right now. The disclosure plan is in full swing and nothing can stop it. The battle has already been won.